Consider the downfalls of classic movie villains, who almost always die fantastic deaths. Think Hans Gruber in Die Hard, Scar in The Lion King, Commodus in Gladiator, and Hans Landa and Hitler in Inglourious Bastards. These deaths not only serve to humiliate the villain and strip them of their status, they also serve to transform the villain into a public spectacle, a warning to those who would follow in their footsteps. And now you know what the opening epigraph and note means. Becoming a spectacle isn't inherently bad. Some spectacles celebrate human creativity and skill, such as Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night or a record-breaking 100-meter sprint at the Olympics. However, other spectacles revel in abject stupidity and exploitation. Just go on social media, you'll see any number of people performing idiotic stunts to attract as much attention as possible. In his film Nope, a story about the discovery of a mysterious creature that lives in a cloud, Jordan Peele reflects on our inner need to be the spectacle, to be seen, to be recognized for who we are, what we are. But he doesn't outright condemn being a spectacle. Instead, he examines the ways in which people seek and become spectacles. In Nope, the first character to discover the creature is Ricky Park. Ricky was a child actor best known for his role in the sitcom Gordy's Home, which featured a chimpanzee who lived with an astronaut and her family. But no one knows Ricky for his acting prowess or the excellence of the show. People remember him as a survivor of a horrendous tragedy. According to Ricky, one of the chimps that played Gordy just hit his limit and went on a rampage, leaving one actress, Mary Jo, horribly disfigured. But for some reason, the chimp spared Ricky. Through no fault of his own, Ricky becomes a spectacle, the miraculous survivor of the Gordy's Home incident, which becomes such a cultural force that Saturday Night Live parodies it. And it really is a miracle, considering the chimp attacked Ricky's sitcom father just moments earlier. However, stronger evidence that Ricky's survival is miraculous appears in Mary Jo's shoe, which stands perfectly, if not impossibly upright, suggesting the hand of God at work. As an adult, Ricky operates a small amusement park called Jupiter's Claim. There, he keeps a hidden museum filled with memorabilia from the Gordy incident, props, photos, the miraculous shoe. So popular is his museum that a Dutch couple paid $50,000 to spend a night in it. In short, Ricky exploits his childhood trauma for profit. This, in and of itself, isn't so bad. I mean, why not profit from a truly terrible moment in your life? This is the subject of countless nonfiction bestsellers. Ricky truly f***s up when he discovers a creature in the sky. He starts feeding it and comes to believe he has tamed the creature because he misunderstands his survival from the Gordy incident. Your average person would avoid any experience that resembles one of the worst moments of their life. Not Ricky. Instead of recognizing the Gordy incident as a warning about the dangers of exploiting wild animals for entertainment, he convinces himself that he can pacify and control such creatures because a chimp didn't attack him, but he is sadly wrong. Ricky plans a live show around the mysterious creature and advertises it as the Star Lasso experience. Of course, he's not lassoing shit. Speaking of shit, when OJ finds a flyer for the show, it's wedged under a pile of horse shit, foreshadowing the shit show that will become his spectacle, but also what Ricky will eventually become. When the show begins, the creature does not behave like a trained dog. Instead, it arrives an hour earlier than Ricky expects, a clear indicator that the creature is untamed and not adhering to Ricky's wishes. Soon thereafter, the creature devours Ricky and his paltry audience, including poor Mary Jo. Ricky's downfall mirrors the Gordy incident, but this time around it's Ricky who exploits a creature and winds up becoming the spectacle of Nahum 3:6. He becomes a cautionary tale about those who misunderstand the lessons of the past.
Because what we about to do, they can't erase that.
The second and third persons to discover the creature are OJ and Emerald Haywood, Ricky Park's neighbors in Agua Dulce. They are the children of Otis Haywood Sr., the only black-owned horse trainer in Hollywood and owner of Haywood Hollywood Horses. At the start of the movie, a coin falls out of the sky and strikes Otis Sr. in the head. He dies soon thereafter. OJ, with M's help, is left to continue the family business, but he finds little luck. They get fired from a gig after one of their horses, ironically named Lucky, gets spooked and scares the film crew. This is especially problematic because OJ lacks his father's stature in the film community. Now, he's the f***up who can't fill his father's shoes. Without Otis Sr., OJ and Haywood Hollywood horses are in dire straits. So OJ resorts to selling some of his horses to keep afloat. Things seem pretty grim, but as luck would have it, the night he gets fired, OJ notices something flying away from Jupiter's claim, along with the sounds of a shrieking horse. Though he won't say UFO or alien, OJ knows he's seen something otherworldly. M recognizes this as a moment, a means to become rich and famous for life. But to do this, they must get the Oprah shot. That is, clear, undeniable proof of this UFO, what OJ will later name Jean Jacket after a troublesome horse. While OJ and M seek to exploit Jean Jacket, they're unlike Ricky Park in two ways. OJ and M have a noble goal beyond fame and riches. They want to instill meaning back into their family name, which was erased from film history. As M points out,
"It's the moment bitches could move. We had skin in the game."
You see, their great-great-great-grandfather Alistair E. Haywood, a Bahamian jockey, starred in the first motion picture, but he was never given credit. The only name people know about the first motion picture is the photographer, Edward Muybridge. Now, this isn't to say Haywood's name should outshine Muybridge's, but Haywood's name should, at the very least, exist in film history. And now, with their father gone, fate has once again erased OJ and M's family name from film history. Family businesses fail all the time, but for OJ and M, Haywood Hollywood Horses is not just a business, it's their heritage. It's their familial claim to historical and cultural significance.
Pops did something when he made this place. He changed the industry. That's real.
This is why OJ rebuffs Ricky Park's offer to buy Haywood Ranch. It's also why he's willing to risk his own life to save it. By capturing the Oprah shot, OJ can insert the Haywood family name to its rightful place in film history. As a horse trainer, OJ understands that humans cannot simply dominate animals into performers without care or consequence. For example, early in the film, OJ warns film crew members not to make sudden movements or stare directly at his horse, because doing so may provoke it. Keep in mind that this is an animal he trained, but even then, he doesn't presume to complete control of it. He recognizes that it is still an animal given to instinctive fight or flight responses, something that doesn't occur to Ricky. More than that, OJ acts as his animal's protector, not just an owner. When the cinematographer Andler's Holt suggests using a horse as bait for Jean Jacket, OJ rejects the idea outright because his animals mean something to him. They aren't mere assets. When he sells them to Ricky, he does so with the hope to buy them back. In contrast, Ricky couldn't care less about the horses and has no qualms feeding them to Jean Jacket. In short, OJ respects his animals, and it's this ethos he applies to Jean Jacket. OJ acknowledges that Jean Jacket is a predator, not livestock, so he must do what Ricky didn't, enter an agreement with it. For OJ, this means respecting Jean Jacket's agency and power. In practice, that means not trying to control it, as well as avoiding any threatening behavior, such as looking it in the eye. So, to capture the Oprah shot, OJ and M devise a non-confrontational but no less dangerous plan. Using OJ as bait, they attempt to lure Jean Jacket out of its cloud and into the open, with Holtz nearby ready to film it. While OJ does ride a horse, he ensures its safety by attaching flags to it, the kind Jean Jacket choked on and now fears. Of course, Jean Jacket does what a predator does, and OJ and M's plan goes to shit. They do get a shot at Jean Jacket, just not the one they intended. But let's be realistic. Their photo, shot on an antiquated camera, is more likely to evoke skepticism than awe. But maybe some of Holt's film survives. Regardless, unlike Ricky, OJ and M remain alive, which probably matters more. It's human nature to desire to be seen and recognized for something great, but humans f*** this up by exploiting others to achieve this. In Nope, Jordan Peele offers some simple suggestions for those in pursuit of spectacle. Don't exploit others, keep your people safe, and above all, put your ego in check. In short, don't be a dick. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe for more film analysis. Until next time.